Hey everyone, welcome to the External and Community Affairs meeting for Monday, July 25th, 2022. I'll call this meeting to order at 5:07 p.m. And I would like to begin by acknowledging that I am chairing this meeting from the traditional and unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, Coquitlam, and Katzie nations. I want to recognize that while these are the lands that myself and Ishana are calling in from today, that this is a virtual meeting, therefore we are all calling in from different nations' lands, and therefore I really want to encourage everyone to take an opportunity during our roll call of attendance to perhaps share what lands you are calling in from today, and hopefully we can all reflect on what that means for all of us as settlers on these lands. I'll start us off with our roll call of attendance. I'll call on you by your position or by name, and I'll ask you all to share your name, your pronouns, and your access needs. And I'll start off with our VP External and Community Affairs.
Hello, my name is Ishana. My pronouns are she, her, and all my access needs are met.
VP Equity and Sustainability.
Hi everyone, I'm Ria. My pronouns are she, her, and they, them, and I'm calling in from the stolen and ceded territories of the Semiahmoo, Katzie, Kwantlen, Wasanich, and Stolo First Nations. And then for access needs, they're all met as well.
Thank you, Ria. History Counselor.
Hey everyone, my name is Matthew Reed. I'm the History Counselor. My pronouns are he, him, his. I'm calling in from the stolen and unceded lands of the Kwantlen, Wasanic, Stolo, Katzie, Semiahmoo, and Salish nations. My access needs, I will have food that is being prepped right now, so I will have to turn off my camera so I can eat because I haven't really eaten that much today, but aside from that, I'm good.
Thank you very much. At-large members, we have Minna Hill. Is Minna coming today?
I thought so, but I'm not sure they need to. Okay,
perhaps Minna Hill will join us soon, and Alexandra will be joining us at 5:30. That leaves me. Hey everyone, I'm the Associate Vice President, External and Community Affairs, and an at-large member of the committee. My name is Gabe Leosis. My pronouns are he, him, his, and my access needs are met. I'll be chairing today's ECAC meeting. For society staff, we don't have any society staff on the line with us today, so we will hop right into our consent agenda. This is section 4 of today's agenda. If you don't have access to the agenda, please let us know. However, it was circulated to members of the committee. We'll start at 4.1, which is the consent agenda, and we have one motion under our consent agenda for today, which is matters arising from the minutes. We have a set of minutes from July 11th to consider. Are there any objections to the motion, singular, under the consent agenda for today? Seeing none, we'll consider the consent agenda approved, and we'll move on to adopting the rest of our agenda for the day. So 5.1 is the motion. I'll read it now. Be it resolved to adopt the agenda as presented. Do I have a mover?
History.
Matthew moves. Do I have a second?
VP Equity.
Ria seconds. Is there any amendments to the agenda that folks would like to make today? Ishana, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to amend the agenda. I'd like to move to bring a motion. Should I read it out now? Okay, so I'd like to amend the agenda to bring the motion. Whereas there is a heat wave this week, whereas it is very likely that heat waves will continue this summer, be it resolved to pass up to $200 for heat-related items for membership for the 2022 summer semester, so till the end of August 2022.
Fantastic. You want to send that wording in an email to the committee just so everyone has it? You can just ask that one line, I guess. So Ishana has moved an amendment to the agenda to add a motion of which she is currently emailing out to the committee, just so you have that wording related to passing funds for heat-related items for membership. Do I have a second for this amendment to the agenda?
History.
Matthew seconds. Any discussion on Ishana's amendment? All right, seeing none, we'll put this to a vote. All those in favor, raise your hands. Okay, that is carried unanimously. Thanks, everyone. You can lower your hands now. We're back to the main motion, adopting the agenda as amended. Are there any other last-minute amendments to be made at this time? Seeing none, we'll put this to a vote. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Cool, that's carried unanimously. You can lower your hands now. And we'll move into report from committees, first of all, and we have a motion, or rather a report from the Office of the Vice President, External and Community Affairs. Shauna, off to you.
Hello, this is going to be super quick. So basically, we had a meeting today with the BC Federation of Students. We, we had a tour of the sub, and then we kind of talked about the campaigns that we were working on. Something which was really cool was they brought like a whole bunch of posters for us for like campaigns. One of the new ones that they brought was actually called, I think it was The Deal Now. And it's an app that students can use to get money off like at like restaurants or places like that. So kind of update there. I'm gonna set up a meeting with the BC Federation of Students, seeing if we can get that for our membership. After I have that conversation, I'll probably bring it to exec and then see what we can do from there. Because it just seemed really cool, and it's like you just download this app and then you sign up, and then once you're a member, you just get deals on stuff. So why not?
Sorry, I just have a question. Or not really a question, but like, I don't even know. I know that my friends at Douglas had something similar to that. So they would go to like, the Old Spaghetti Factory and they get like $10 off. So I think this is awesome. I love this.
Oh, that's awesome to hear, because I do know that I think Douglas is with the BC. I won't say that. I'm not sure, but I do know that.
Well, yeah.
They have connections there. Yeah. So that sounds awesome. So that sounds really cool that maybe we could get $10 off. But yeah, so I'll have that meeting and I'll give an update. Ongoing projects, we're gonna talk about this later on, but ongoing projects that I'm just continuously working on is the water drive and municipal elections and getting a TransLink roundtable to the sub. Yeah, that's basically updates from me.
Thanks, Shauna. Questions for the VP External? Matthew?
What would be, like, is this something that we'll have to buy into? Like as students, would this be a portion of our SFSS funding to buy into this program? Or is this just something that we like sign and we say, hey, we're a part of this now, give us deals? Like what's the catch here?
I honestly have no clue. That's why I'm just going to set up a meeting and see what they say there. And I'm obviously going to ask this question, be like, okay, do we pay into a fee? Do we do this? And after I have that meeting, I'll report back.
Yeah, it was kind of this cool thing that we literally just learned about this afternoon.
Literally like
Person at BCFS. Ria?
Wait, sorry. So is that the like SPC thing, or it's something else? Okay.
Yeah. Do university students even, are they eligible for the SPC? I thought that was just high school students.
What is the SPC? I don't even know what this is.
Oh, the student price card. Have you heard of that before?
No, but I'm searching it now. I'll figure it out. Don't worry.
Student price card, it's like $10. You can buy it from your school at like the beginning of the year. And basically, if you buy it, it's valid for 1 year. And any stores that are like eligible with the SPC basically get like discounts at certain stores. So I know I had the SPC all throughout high school, and you could get discounts at like Old Navy, American Eagle, and a bunch of other like places, the food places, et cetera, et cetera.
I can give some context on this. So basically, we're thinking of maybe providing SPC to our membership. We're having like conversations about it. There was a presentation done as well as at the last executive meeting. We're still figuring it out. We're not sure, because you do have to give a certain amount of funds to stay within the program. So we're still figuring that out. But some university students do have it.
I mean, just looking at the deals that we get, like they're kind of intense. Like going over to Adidas, like 30% off regularly priced items, 20% off at Shein. Whether or not you like their products and their business brand, that's in the site. It's 20% off. Like that, I'm a big fan of this. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Ignore that. Sorry.
Other questions on Shauna's report? Seeing none, we'll move on to the motion, which reads. Oh wait, no, can you? Okay, so the motion reads, whereas there is a heat wave this week, whereas it's very likely that the heat waves will continue this summer, be it resolved to pass up to $200 for heat relief related items for membership for the 2022 summer semester, which will be valid until the end of August 2022. Is there a mover? I guess.
History.
Shauna will move the motion. Matthew, do you want a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Awesome. So discussion, and I'll turn the floor over to Shauna just to explain the motion first.
Yeah, so basically there's going to be a heat wave this week. We want to make sure that we provide for our membership. Like we were thinking, so I put relief related items because we were thinking of, okay, we can buy like a bunch of stuff. So we were thinking we can buy some like freezies, have execs and counselors hand them out if execs and counselors are able to. So I'll send an email for that. Maybe just execs, we'll see how it works out. And then we're gonna get some freezies out. We can go buy like a pack at Costco. I put up to 200 just because this will be for the summer, because I'm pretty sure this won't be the only heat wave because we're just entering into August now. And I put other relief related items because we were thinking of maybe we don't want to buy plastic water bottles. So we were thinking we can, I know they have like some compostable stuff, like more environmentally friendly like water things, or if there's like nice like ice pops or something, we want to get popsicles too, just so we have more like flexibility in buying things for students. So that's just kind of where we're at. Also, not on topic of this motion, but what we can think of for the future, we were thinking of maybe getting SFSS water bottles that we could hand out maybe for next summer. So students can get a water bottle too that they can constantly refill. But that's something that we can look at further into for maybe next year. But yeah, that's just my little spiel on that.
Questions or discussion on the motion? Seeing none, then we'll put the motion to a vote. All those in favor, please raise your hands. All right, that's carried unanimously. Thanks, everyone. We'll move on to discussion items, and we have 11.1, which is titled Gondola Celebration, and I'll turn the floor over to Shauna.
Yes. So we want to do a gondola celebration because the gondola was passed. So I have a whole document of like what we can do. So I was thinking, sorry, I have a little cough. I was thinking we could do this in maybe like 2 weeks and just have something like in the boardroom, invite some folks from SFU, invite membership, and we were thinking we're just gonna like get a cake, have like a couple speeches, and then just celebrate a little bit. So I was thinking like we can just get like one big cake, have like a cake cutting thing, like let people enjoy for like an hour or something, because we need to celebrate our wins. And this was something which was advocated for over 10 years. So we can get staff in there too. Yeah, something that I was just thinking of doing. Yeah, I see Rhea in the chat says gondola cake. I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, so what do folks think about that? Any ideas for what we can do? How does 2 weeks sound?
Rhea?
Yeah, I think this is an amazing idea and so important too to celebrate like 10 years of so much work that went into it. I think also having like a hybrid component for a lot of the folks who might not be able to make it in person, especially because a lot of the people who worked on it are alumni, and like to appreciate them too.
Yeah, so I can, that was actually Gabe's idea too, to like make it hybrid. So I'm happy we're on the same page. So we, updates on that. We reached to alum about the celebration just to be like, hey, would you be able to come? And then that's where we kind of put in like the hybrid option. And we were thinking like, it would be cool, like if, I feel like for students too, if they want to join in hybridly, and then just we can have like a little speech and be like, oh, this is a little history about it. This is what happened. And we were also thinking we can kind of talk about next steps, because I feel like students may know that it got passed, but students may not know like what we need to do next, or what's like basically what's next. So we can add that in. So thank you, Rhea. I appreciate it.
Other discussion on the gondola celebration? Seeing none, we'll move on to our next discussion item, which is TransLink Roundtable and Student Union Building.
Yes. Okay, so got some good updates here. So TransLink actually replied to one of my emails today, and they said that they could possibly come in on August 8th to do the roundtable. It's a Friday. So I'm just here to be like, how does that sound? Do we have a time that we want to do? And what do we want to ask of them for like membership? I can tell like what I was thinking. So first of all, like questions that TransLink can ask that students have, updates on the gondola specifically, so having a little bit of time there, and then having some time. I'm putting this out there because I've had students from Maple Ridge reach out, like having a little bit of information for Maple Ridge Transit for SFU students, because a lot of students in Maple Ridge go to SFU. So those three things kind of being like a main type of thing. So students can just ask questions whenever they want. Any questions? How does August 8th, in terms of like how we're gonna get the word out, just like putting it on social media. We probably like, we'll see if we can maybe get posters around the sub as well. I know that August 8th is coming up, but I feel like we can make it happen like in the boardroom or something. Yeah, how does that sound?
Ria, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds good. Well, you said August 8th. That's a Monday, right?
I think that's
You mentioned that August 5th, right?
I meant to say August 5th. I'm sorry.
Okay, okay.
Yes, that's why I said Friday. Yeah, and we aren't sure what time. Is there any time folks think would be good for this?
Early in the morning,
Morning?
like maybe 10 or 11, maybe 11 around then,
I think,
because no one will want to come in the afternoon.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and also talking about structure as well that you mentioned. I think that's good. Yeah, having like the structure, but then also space for students to ask questions. And then also like questions to prompt, or like having like backup questions to help other students, like prompt them and everything to,
Okay.
you know.
So Glenwood, Maple Ridge, questions and backup questions. Thank you, Ria. That's I wouldn't have thought of that. Backup questions. Awesome.
Okay, well, are there any other questions related to the TransLink roundtable? Okay, we'll move on then to 11.3, which is titled Ongoing Projects.
Yes, so 2 ongoing projects. We'll start off with the water drive. I have some updates here. I know that Alexandra put some updates in the WhatsApp group chat. Basically, what's happening right now is we had we had that meeting with MP Jenny Kwan. So basically, MP Jenny Kwan said that they have like connections for us, and like we can talk to like the Women's Center and stuff to see what they're doing. So we kind of did like consulting with community, seeing what community like is in need of. So what we realized after a conversation with MP Jenny Kwan was that we can even so there we can go to like the houses folks out in Surrey Central and the downtown east side, and we can also go to like there's low income housing that we can also go to, where they kind of like put little, like they put like water or prepackaged snacks and like hang it up on doors, and they have like the address to those places. So I was thinking that that could be like a whole separate thing. But in terms of heat relief, they said that we could basically just go like anytime and help give out to community. And MP Jenny Kwan also said that they're like willing to donate like tote bags and stuff, so we could like hand it out. So that sounds really awesome. So in terms of more updates there, for the water drive, I have reached out, sent emails to folks. For sponsorships, I've gotten 2 replies and they just want more information right now. And the rest of the people, I reached out to Walmart and Nestle, and I had a meeting with staff today, and they said that to just honestly just contact local like stores, and they'll probably give like a pack of water or something or 2. And I feel like that would be good. So action items for me, I'm just gonna call local stores and see if we can get some water, things like that. But yeah, any questions there? I guess, oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I know from the past 2, from kind of like fundraisers or like community events and stuff, yeah, we've just gone like canvassing around the community, and people are usually like more than happy to donate. So
Thank you. Yeah, cool. Sounds awesome. Yeah, I'm thinking that for this year since we're like within the heat waves right now, I'm happy because I feel like we got like good consulting going on. We have like a solid plan. And I feel like I have it ready for like the next VP external too, so like who they can reach out to. But in terms of like our next steps, I feel like we're pretty solid on like what's happening next in terms of like, okay, we're getting these sponsorships, hopefully, and then and then what we're gonna do next. I know we're in the middle of a heat wave right now, so we're gonna do things internally, like within the SFSS with membership. Heat waves in August, which we are expecting. Hopefully, we'll have like packages and stuff ready by then. We're gonna update MP Jenny Kwan with the updates on sponsorships that we have. And then from then on, I was thinking in terms of like actually going out in the community. I'm gonna keep track of the weather, like. I know that for this week, we kind of saw that it was hot like 2 days before. I was thinking I might just send like an email out 2 days before to council, to execs, to the ECA committee and be like, yo, is anyone able to come to this this location on this day? And then we can just go and hand out water. Because I feel like community would, if it's a meeting in the community, I feel like it'd be good to go out if folks are able to. How does that sound, that type of thing?
Yeah, that sounds really good. I know especially, yeah, like Surrey campus around that area, just going around and like giving water, making sure people are okay and stuff would be really good.
Awesome. I feel like we got a pretty solid plan. I think it's just getting the sponsorships now, but I feel like we like did pretty well with getting it ready, especially for next year. So very happy, and thank you everyone for like, I know we've been talking about this for 3 meetings now, so thank you very much. I feel like we're on track. Anything else for this? Any questions?
Okay. What's your next? I'm close with my phone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Next discussion item is support.
Oh, wait. Oh, sorry. We're still going on. Sorry, I forgot one project. Oh, hello, Alexandra. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Did you want to introduce yourself, name?
Yeah, sure. So hi, I think I've met everybody before that's in the meeting today. My name's Alexandra. Hello again. My pronouns are she, her. Yeah, and all my accommodations are met.
Awesome. Yeah, just for like an update, we just finished conversations on the water drive, and I know your voice is a little, so I just provided updates about our meeting with MP Jenny Kwan. I was saying basically we're good for like the water drive. We just have to get sponsorships now. Like we have a solid plan of like what we're gonna do, what's gonna happen. We're thinking we might start off like, I think Ria was suggesting like Surrey too, like going around Surrey campus, making sure people like are okay, things like that. And yeah, and I was just talking about how when once we have sponsorships and like we have those prepackaged snacks in the water, I'll just keep track of the heat and the weather. And you know how we kind of like figured out like 2 days before that this heat wave was gonna come, I'll just send out an email and then I'll see who is able to go, and we'll meet up at a certain time and then just go and then give those support to the community.
Yeah, Alexandra.
Yeah, that sounds great. And I was also thinking, because I didn't hear back from Women's East Side Women's Center and Triage Center. I called them, I emailed, no response. So I was thinking we could probably also be handing out waters at downtown Vancouver campus and Surrey campus as well. Like, yeah, I think that would be a good location too, or like even in front of it, or kind of, because I have one class there this year, and definitely a lot of folks passes through who I think could use a little bit support.
Yeah, for sure. Sounds good. Thank you for sharing. That's kind of, any other comments on water drive? I'm assuming no. Okay, cool. Just another thing for ongoing projects. We have the sorry, we have municipal elections as well. Update there. It's literally just kind of like admin work right now, just kind of like getting things ready. Update like elections Canada, elections BC still hasn't responded to us. We got staff to look into it, but nothing has really, like, they haven't responded. So that's like our main goal, to make sure that they know that this is happening so we can register to do the Get Out to Vote campaign. Also, we have to see how much money we can actually spend on the campaign as well for the Get Out to Vote campaign and registering. So that's kind of like main priority. So like making sure we actually get that happening. Yeah, go ahead, Alexandra.
So for that, I was also thinking, because our campaign will be mostly just spreading the word about the election and convincing young folks to vote, correct? But I was also thinking about educating on candidates. And I know that we can't have an opinion. I mean, like, obviously. But I just like talking to a bunch of people, I feel like not many young people know what really is going on, or they will know some parts, but then they don't know what actually the person trying to be elected is representing. And that's a huge issue. It's like being partially educated, that, and then they will, make their votes based on that. So I was thinking, would we be preparing some sort of information about each candidate as well? Because I think that that'd be very helpful for a lot of young folks.
Yeah, so we are. To answer your question simply, we are. We're just gonna basically take their platforms and just put it simply in like an information package. And then that's like one of the working groups that we're going to have, and it's going to have that working like information package about candidates, so people know. And we're gonna like separate it in terms of like, oh, Surrey, Vancouver, Burnaby, things like that. So it's gonna be super clear for students. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Yeah. And in terms of education, I made the master document for this, so I will share it with your SFU emails, and it has literally all the information. So I have information about tabling, I have the communications information, because I had a whole meeting with staff on that. We're pretty solid, we got a timeline, and then right now we're thinking what we're going to do in terms of what we can kind of do right now. It's literally just waiting on Elections BC to be like, you can do this. But we're thinking the first step would be, we're just going to put on our social media, hey, are you registered to vote? And like giving out links where you can register and see if you're eligible to vote. So that's going to be like first step in terms of communications. So it's not going to be get out to vote. It'll just be like, do you have information? Because we don't want to be like putting out so much information and people getting sick of it. So it'll kind of just be that. And then it has all the information about next steps and things. So I can totally share that. Alexandra?
That's amazing. And I was also thinking, other than giving background on each candidate, would we, I mean, I don't know if that's a good idea. Let me know what you think, but I was thinking maybe even maybe we could do like a little chart of kind of right wing, left wing, center, and what they're for, because I've heard, sometimes I hear someone say like, oh, let's say I'll vote conservative, but then if you talk to them, I don't think they really realize, like they will only know like something about it, but then they won't really look into their other values. And I think it's also important. What do you think?
Matt?
Like, do you think?
I think that's a really good idea, Alexandra. I think that's also something that we've discussed a little bit before, actually. Like, it's a very similar idea, and I think it's a really good one. Is like having those little card, like a little chart of like each candidate, regardless of their background, and then saying like, do they support women's rights? Do they support this? Do they support that? What's their stance on this? And then just having like a yes or a no. That way, we're not even saying like whether or not we think they're right or left or center. We're completely saying, we don't care about your political ideology. Here's what each candidate actually stands for. Because you're right, like people do tend to just vote for a specific party regardless of their actual, like they vote for the party, not for the stance, like, so by taking away the party of that individual And by just providing them with the information as to what that candidate actually stands for, I think you'll find a lot more people actually being like, oh wait, I didn't think I'd vote this way, but here I am voting this way, you know, like something that I think we have discussed previously. I really like it.
Ria?
Yeah, I think, yeah, an important part of our campaign can be like getting the vote out, but also making sure that the vote, like students are informed and are like informed voters as well. And yeah, like kind of, yeah, like what Matt said, we can even align with our issues policies as well. Just kind of like, where does this candidate stand on TMX? Where does this candidate stand on, yeah, women's rights, especially also with, yeah, like abortion rights, and then also like gay marriage. Like a lot of these things are coming up now, and like especially in municipal elections. I know in my local municipality as well, it's like, yeah, like there are politicians who are actively like speaking against human rights, but like people don't know about it. So I think we can do that as well. I was gonna say something else. Yeah, I guess just that. But yeah, maybe we could tie that in.
Yeah, I can add in on this. So I was talking to about this with other folks as well, because it's such a great idea. We just have to be very, very careful, because if Elections BC thinks that, because even if it's not, and they think that like this could be a sort of endorsement, I would just be very careful about like putting in our issues policies, because they would definitely take that as some type of endorsement. So I feel like we can have this conversation. Like I was thinking we can get staff within like the ECA committee, and then have this conversation with them. And then also I was thinking, just to be safe, we can talk about this idea with Elections BC, because the thing is we just can't get in trouble with them, because they have very fine lines. And I was even like looking at the rules and things after this was said, because I want to do it. I just want to make sure that it's done in the right way. So we will figure that out, because I want to make sure that, because the main thing is that it's just informing students, right, about like certain things. And also it's like accessibility as well for a lot of students, because I feel like it's so hard to find information. So if we're just making it easier to find, I don't see a problem, but we will specifically ask about it to Elections BC.
Sounds good. And I was also thinking, because I personally tried to look up each candidate that is trying to be elected in Vancouver, because I live downtown. So I was just, doing like a pre-research, and I had really hard time finding information about what they think about abortion rights and about gay marriage. And so then I looked up their backgrounds, because I do know like the political stances in general, and we all kind of know, but it is tough because we can't really, generalize, even though everybody knows what like conservatives thinks, for example, as a majority. But what do we do in these cases that we can't find their stance, but we do know that, let's say, X and X was previously in this party, but now he claims as independent, but technically that party is against like some major human rights. Like, what do we do in this case? That we don't have this information,
Yeah, thanks very much, Alexandra. Was there anything else you wanted to mention on municipal elections?
I feel like, Alexandra, to like kind of answer your question, I feel like it's hard, because I feel like people would like not want them to know if you're like I don't know. It's hard to find that information. What do other folks think?
I think it's a really good question, because like there's a limit to what we can know, right? And we have to accept that. At the end of the day, we're not superheroes. We can't just automatically know all the information about every single candidate, all their dirty laundry. That's not a viable option for us. So we can only do what we can. We can take what's in their platforms, we can take past discussions, their stances, and we can talk about that. Unfortunately, we can't know all the dirt. We can't know all the other stuff, because there's a reason that it's not exactly accessible, right? Like, we have to be conscious of that and accept that as we're doing this work, that there's just some things that we'll never know, right?
Ria?
Yeah, maybe something that we could do is kind of have like a list of kind of top top whatever issues that are important to students, and then see if we can find anything that the candidates have said on their platform. But if not, I'm not sure. I think there was kind of mention of a debate, but also maybe if we give the opportunity for candidates to like answer what their stances are on like the top whatever issues, and see what they say. And if there's like no response, we can just put like no response from like this section and make them like really generalize like like climate action or like just like big or not big, but like just the top issues and stuff like tuition and everything, and see what they say.
Yeah, okay, I think that's an amazing idea because I feel like we can also maybe make like an email template for students and like be like, do you want to email your local candidates? And then maybe they can like put in their questions and then they know, and then also we can like connect our own emails. Oh my gosh, perfection. Because then like, because the whole point is like knowing, like, because they want questions, they want us to ask questions because that means we'll vote too, right? So I feel like it'll also show who is willing to answer those questions, and that'll tell a lot as well. Ooh, thank you, Ria. I'm gonna plan that. I put that in my thing.
Is your hand up from before? Did you want to add something else?
Oh yeah, I just like, yeah, that sounds so exciting because I know we could also maybe do something like get to know your local candidate and stuff. Because I know when before or during most elections, like also they have like their offices are there and you can literally go in and talk to them. Like I've done that before people run, like just being like, okay, like what are your stances on this and this? So yeah, we can do an email template like, get to know, like if we really want to push like getting out the vote, but also an informed vote as well. Like get to know your future representative, you know, possible, but or like get to know the candidate, sorry. Yeah, I think that would be great too. And then having that email template, yeah, even if we want to like maybe something that could be like for our social media or whatever, like for the external committee, if we go to our like local people who are running for, like for me, Surrey and stuff, and then like taking pictures of that and stuff, we're just like encouraging people to do the same and like sending emails and stuff.
Oh, that sounds so amazing. Yeah, and I was even thinking like, Ria, while you're talking, you talked about offices. We can even like have a map of like where local candidate offices are so students know. So we can have a little map of that, put that on social media around the sub. Yeah.
Just another idea that we could do, because like some students do feel really intimidated to ask questions to their representatives. Like I know that's been a barrier for me in the past. What we could do is be like, hey, email us your questions and then we can go from there. Because obviously we have a little bit more power. We can say like, hey, answer our questions, please. You know, like obviously take a nicer tone. We don't want to be mean. That's not our goal. But that's like definitely an approach that we could take. And then we could like send along those emails to the necessary counselors and stuff like that.
Yeah, like with what you just said, I feel like we can have a thing of like maybe like a drop form, and then we can put, oh, here's a drop form questions, and be like, oh, who do you want us to send this to? And we can ask on behalf of like the society. So when we enter email to them, to the candidates, we can be like, hey, this is from like an SFSS member. We're a student society, blah blah blah, and like have an email template for that to make it very generalized and things like that.
Alexandra?
Actually, maybe we could do a survey because some students might also not really know what exactly they want to ask. But then if we actually inform them that, hey, this is something that you should actually know because you care about it, but you don't realize that this is in control of people we vote for. So maybe we could like a survey, which questions, which things we should ask, you know?
Really interesting. I like that idea. We can put together like, a survey of like, we can ask questions about issues that impact students that municipal governments control. So I don't know what that would include. What would that include? Like city
Transit?
Transit.
Affordable housing?
Housing.
To an extent, yes.
Yeah, to an extent.
Yeah.
Just general city infrastructure.
Yeah,
Accessibility issues.
big time.
Yeah, I guess commitment to equity and like anti-oppression, anti-racism commitments, homophobia, queerphobia, transphobia.
Mhm.
Stances on like policing.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm unsure as to how much control most municipalities have over their police.
Sure.
I'd imagine it's like a good
What do
deal,
they
but not the most.
Yeah.
Obviously, when it's a municipal police force, they have a whole lot more power. But
Yeah, well, municipalities fund the police force and they're, yeah,
Mhm.
they control the police budget.
That's something we can definitely put. Oh, that's such a cool. Thank you, Alexandra. That's a really, really good idea. I was thinking from what was just said, I just put in an action item for myself. I'm going to bring this to staff. And I was wondering like if you folks want to come to that meeting too, and then we can discuss that together. So I can send out an email or maybe like a when to meet, and then we can have that meeting. Or like I can even invite staff to the next ECA committee meeting and like be like, oh, are you free during this time? And then we can block off the time during this meeting for that. Yeah, how does that sound? For like that specifically for the survey, we can have that conversation because I feel like we can get started on that now. Cool.
Anything else?
Anything else for municipal elections?
Bet. Let's move on then. We are on next 11.4, which is support for students during heat waves.
Yes, so I know we talked about this. I was thinking this conversation, we kind of did like, what are we gonna do now? I was thinking what we can do in the future, like maybe even in August. So we talked a lot. We're doing the community aspect. We're also thinking of like internally, what we can kind of do for students. So I know we're doing like the ice cream kind of thing and seeing if we can get like compostable like water. I don't know, something. I'm gonna look around Costco. But we were thinking about like, are there any other ideas for like what we can do for heat relief for students? Just overall, generally. If not, that's fine too.
Matt, go ahead.
keeping the sub open, because I think it's like one of the few buildings that's like air conditioned on campus, if I'm not mistaken, or if nothing else, like it's cooler than the rest of campus. So seeing if maybe we can extend the hours to like from sun to sundown. I know that's a little bit difficult with the daylight and all that fun stuff, but that's a possibility maybe.
We have a bit of a hard time with that, just with our union staff,
Yeah.
but it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, it's something that we can
Let's
definitely.
look into it.
Yeah, it's something.
Talk with Aisha about it.
Okay, I'll put chat.
I have a couple of ideas.
Ooh, Aisha. Okay, not Aisha, plans. Okay, chat with Aisha about it. Action item, I can set up that meeting pretty soon and then I can get back to you folks. I can even send an update over email. That sounds cool. Matt.
Cool, Rhea.
There's something small, but something we could do in the sub because a lot of the heat that we get is from the sun because there's so much glass. But in the ballroom, what you can do is actually just like we have like the blinds and everything. So just like keeping that down whenever we can to get like the least amount of like sun exposure. But I'm not sure how much that would help, but that was just something that.
Yeah, let's ask John about that because I feel like he would have mentioned, we were talking about that earlier with him about the possibility of actually just needing to close off level 5 because it gets so hot up there. I feel like he would have mentioned that if he thought it was a viable option, but maybe he hasn't thought about it. Well, yeah, let's ask him if closing the blinds helps. Because while it helps block out light, I don't know if it helps block out heat, right? Because it's quite like the blinds are quite thin. It doesn't really do much for heat. It just blocks out light.
Yeah, because I had an event in the sub earlier, and then John was mentioning, because of like he recommended to us to like keep as many blinds closed as like until like the sun went down. So I'm not sure how that would affect like if students weren't actually in the ballroom, or if we were to open up the ballroom, like how like for students to just for that to be a cooling place. But I'm not sure. I guess something that John would know, our building manager would know better.
I guess like just overall on that, because like the 5th floor is just going to get really hot. So if it does get hot, we're just going to close the whole floor off. But that's something that we would do like in an extreme case. But they said that even today it got up to 27 degrees and it's supposed to be like feeling like over 40 this week. So like we're thinking that we may have to, we're gonna see. But yeah, that's I feel like in terms of what John said, students would come to the sub to get heat relief because we have like the new AC thing. But we would get students to go onto the 1st and 2nd floor because it would be the coolest there. So we try and avoid students being on the 3rd and 4th even. So that's kind of like plan in terms of like sub building thing. But yeah.
Alexandra?
With actually the idea about the blinds. So my apartment is glass all around, and I have to do it every summer just to keep them down all day, and it helps a lot. If I forget and have it out, it seems like as the light gets in, everything that is darker is just literally burning. Walking on the ground is almost nearly impossible. And same thing in the winter. If it's super cold and I'll keep the blinds out, just seems to block the cold coming through the windows. So it does help, but I don't know, it might depend on the blinds. So it depends what they have there.
Yeah.
I think great idea, I think.
Yeah, I think that's just a conversation we'll have with John, but I feel like it wouldn't hurt to put the blinds down, so why not?
Matthew?
I was just gonna add like another point, like literally echoing the same thing that everyone else has already said. Like, the room that I'm in is like always facing the sun, so like it turns into a furnace really fast, like we were saying, Alexandra. So like, just have it. Like I used to have different curtains and blinds, and like those were much worse at blocking out the heat, but it still helped a little bit. I'm not about to say it's gonna be exceptional in the sub because like there's so many windows, but it'll help.
Yeah.
To some extent.
Yeah, we can just update you with what John says. Thank you for all the ideas. Anything else for this?
Not blind related.
Yeah.
Matt, is that a hand up from before?
Like, yes, but I also did just come like a really stupid idea that'll get turned down immediately. Water fight anyone, like take up like the space on like the SFU field, just grab a bunch of water guns, water balloons, have at it, I feel like this would be fun.
Okay, wait a minute. I feel like, okay, maybe we could get something. You know what we can do? I can talk to Vibo and then maybe we can make it into an event type of thing, like get like water and like we can be like, oh, let's go to the field. We'd have to talk to SFU, but that's not an issue. I feel like it would be like such a cool thing, and also I feel like it brings us back to our childhood. if you did that when you were young, because I know I did. No, I didn't want to assume for everyone, but yeah, no, I remember that, and like the minute you said that, I feel like it's a great idea.
Alexandra and then Ria.
Also, I mean, I think it's a silly idea, but I'm just going to throw it out there. Sprinklers, when you're walking and you have this like light breeze of like cool water on your face somewhere from the fountain. It's the best feeling ever in the summertime. So maybe, I mean, I bet SFU has sprinklers for their lawns, and they could just like put them in the middle, between library and this other building. Like there are spots that they could definitely put them so people could like walk around and not get sprinkled, but if somebody felt like they wanted a little cool off, they could.
Ria, go ahead.
Yeah, I know that reminded me, like, I think UBC, I'm not sure if SFU does too, but they usually have like snowball fights. I guess just from like, I don't know about like SFSS with like liability though, like if like someone were to get injured and like that sort of thing, and like having first aid, if we're gonna have an event, that might be an issue. But also, yeah, like what Alexandra mentioned, like having like, because we have like the football fields and stuff, right? So if they just like kept the sprinklers on, and then like, I'm not sure how we could like organize it or what it would look like, but like people can just go to the field and like run around.
Yeah, I was thinking we could like block off like an hour or two and like just do something.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Matthew.
I just want to also add, we did throw a good amount of funding behind like renovating that field. We could definitely put some of that use a little bit of that as like leverage, being like, hey, remember that nice set of bleachers y'all have now? You should let us use your field.
I mean, never say
Quote happening.
I mean, never say never. I mean, well, I feel like they would. I feel like they wouldn't like opposed to it. I feel like their main concern would just be like liability things. But I feel like if we like nicely ask and we're like, hey, it's hot, can we like just do like a fun event for students hosted by the SFSS? And if like SFU wants to like help out with it too, like I don't know, we can work together on it, you know? We worked together for the gondola and it worked out. And I feel like this is something that would just be like really great for students and like good relief. But yeah, Ria?
Okay, sorry, last thing. But I think it might be cool, or another idea could be like hosting like a game or something, like a tournament or whatever. And then like a water gun fight or something like that, like how they normally host like games or like intramurals and things like that. But just do it like with like water guns, like I don't know, if like something like that. And then we can have like people come out, we'll have like water there and stuff. And like if we can get tents as well. I know we have one tent from the SFSS, but just like places where people can come, and even if they don't want to play, they can just like, we'll have like water and like a cool place, and then like the sprinklers and things like that. But yeah.
Okay, that sounds awesome. Any other thoughts on this, Matt?
Yeah.
Just a final thing that I want to add, like, okay, so we have a pool on campus. So many students don't know about that. So many students forget about that. I think a small and easy thing that we can do is just send an email to membership and be like, hey, I know it's hot. Something you may have not thought about is the fact that we have a pool on campus. So like next time you're on campus, hit it up. Could be like a really small but easy thing that we can do that would literally cost us nothing.
Cool. Our next discussion item is sort of tied into this, I feel like. Starting a working group for weather-related emergencies. Do you want to?
Yeah. So I know at council it was just passed for like a natural disaster working group. I was thinking this one can be just aimed specifically like towards more weather. Like I was thinking, because we did stuff for floods and heat waves. I was thinking, since like the external committee we're like gonna expect floods and heat waves every time, I was thinking that can be something that like we can focus on since we're already doing the heat wave thing. So I was thinking I can bring this is just discussion. I don't know what you folks are thinking. I was thinking I can maybe bring this to council and like have a working group specifically for floods and heat waves for the external committee, so it's done every year. So it's less broad, and we're working on like 2 things, and we need to like make sure it's done, because I know that last year events did the flood relief, but I was thinking that's something that we can also work on ourselves, but obviously having that discussion at council and seeing what folks think, since we already have the natural disaster one, because we don't want to reinvent the wheel. But yeah, what do you folks think about that?
I like it.
Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, just so you folks know, it's something I'll bring up probably like not at the next council meeting, but maybe the next council meeting. I don't know, but I'll give an update. Yeah, that is basically it. But I think if anything, we can just have like a working group for like heat related stuff because we're already working on it. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, that's our agenda for today. Announcements. We have our next meeting 2 weeks from now on August 1st, same
August 8th.
time, August. What?
Oh, that was a mistake. It was on August 8th.
Ignore the agenda. It's August 8th. It'll be via Zoom and in person, depending on your preference. And we'd love to have you in person if you can, but no pressure to do so. We will move on to adjournment. Be resolved to adjourn the meeting at 6:01 p.m. Is there a mover? Donna moves.
History.
Second. Matthew seconds. Matt's just so excited to adjourn the meeting. He wants to get out of here. All those in favor to adjourn the meeting, please raise your hand. Meeting adjourned. Have a fantastic evening, everyone. Have some food. Stay cool if you can.
Yeah.
Please. I
Thank
hope
you so much. Have a wonderful night. Bye bye.